Welcome back to Purple Nerd Channel, home for all those who geek out on all things Prince related. As you can tell, I have a special guest with me because this is a special episode as we're going through Prince's automotive collection. And why do I have the gentleman with me here today? Well, besides the fact that he is a good friend of mine for over 20 years, because we are that old, he is also a Prince enthusiast, but not only that, he is a car enthusiast, and not just a car enthusiast. This man is actually a certified mechanic. He specializes in diesel engines, and I believe he was actually once in the military. So this man right here can do an oil change on a battleship. He can swap out the diesel engine on a freight truck, and he can restore your little red Corvette. The host and content creator of GasDiesel Garage, I give you the man, the myth, the legend, Jack.
Yeah, hello. How you doing? Happy to be part of Prince's, collection, and like Jeremiah said, I mean, I love Prince, man. I mean, he's like my all-time favorite artist. So yep. I mean, to be able to talk about his cars is actually, a privilege and an honor, honestly. So.
And don't you working on restoring a '84 Corvette? Is it?
Yes, I sure did. Fortunately, I had to say I ended up selling it because I have something else, and kind of cleaning up the garage and stuff. Yeah. But I will have another one day and stuff. But I ended up selling it. But yes, you can see on my channel, I've had that Corvette and stuff, So, but yeah, just somebody gave me a good offer.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to kick things off with a car I didn't send you on the list, and it's a car that should be on the list. And apparently when he passed, this car was no longer in his possession, and that's the one that's in my background. It is I'm going to call it a late 60s Ford Thunderbird. I'm calling it late 60s because Prince himself wasn't 100% sure the year of it. He actually corrects himself in the song, and a lot of people online actually claim because of the headlights it's actually a 69, and this was actually for the longest time his daily driver. You see the other picture, he's actually parked in front of Paisley Park, but allegedly the story is, and I couldn't get confirmation on it, but it makes sense because he lives in Minnesota, that he lost control of it in some bad weather and wrecked it. But I do know he got the car actually from his dad. His dad bought it brand new. And gave it to him as a thank you because he bought his dad a BMW. So I guess it's kind of a nice exchange, but I think this is a cool car. They actually used to bring it on stage during the Love Sexy tour, and they used like some electronic motors to roll it on stage because, you don't want gas fumes actually pumping on the stage and everything. What do you think of this beautiful car here?
I mean, it's a beautiful car. I mean, Prince is all glitz and glamour. I mean, the chrome. I mean, the white wall. White wall tires in the '60s were all the rage. I mean, and I believe it had wire wheels on it. I'm not really sure. I could probably see, but yeah. I mean, to me, it's like one of the ultimate pimp cars.
Yeah.
And hey, what can I say about Prince? Prince was a pimp. In the good sense, guys.
Exactly. Yes.
In the good sense, man. And it's just a classic. I mean, what can I say? I mean, with the chrome, the grill. I mean, you can see the grill right behind him. I mean, that's just the intricate. Of that is just it's amazing. Although I'm not partial to Fords, but it is a Ford Thunderbird, and my mom's favorite car is actually a 1960 62 T-Bird, I believe, but
sweet.
I'm not there. But that's the little one. But I believe it's a little bit huge because I think towards the 70s they were starting to get big with the cars.
Yeah,
I mean boats.
The next car is the 1964 Buick Wildcat. He rode this car super hard and was going seems like he was going 100 miles an hour in every scene because he used this in the movie Under the Cherry Moon. And I never heard of this car, and it's funny because it looks like a really big car when he's driving it, but he's like a little dude. So it's actually a really small car. And I think the most ridiculous part about this car in the movie Under the Cherry Moon is there's a scene where him and his love interest in the film, they decide to have a race. And the race takes place in dirt because it's actually in a horse race arena. And she's driving a Porsche 911 and he beats her. And I don't see how in any world on a dirt road that a 1964 Wildcat's going to beat a Porsche 911 in any type of race.
Yes, that's true. Well, one factor is that I believe the Porsches, they are air-cooled vehicles, or air-cooled. They're in the back. But the thing is, with this Wildcat, it had a 6.6 liter V8. Now that's pretty much getting into the big block V8s. Now,
Gotcha.
Big block V8s for the 60s with about 350 horsepower, I think it was. But I mean, for like I said, for that time, that's a pretty stout car to get to the racing of a Porsche. Yeah, maybe some camera theatrics of him beating the Porsche.
But this would have been like either an 84, 85 Porsche. So
I'm sorry.
Were they all-wheel drive at that point, or I'm not really sure that.
I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't think they are. I think it would all be mid-engine in the back, with the mid-engine vehicles. I mean, you can get off the line a lot quicker than a front-wheel drive car. Even rear-wheel drive. I mean, have the power to weight distribution on a Porsche is. I mean, it's a built sports car. I mean, in the Wildcat, like you're saying, it's something that you never really have ever seen or heard of. Which I'm not gonna lie, I had to Google it. But
I wasn't sure what it was in the film. I was watching the movie and I was like, "What is that?" And it's like, because again, it looks, because of him, his his proportions, because he's a little dude. It looks like this giant car, and I was like, what is it, like, an Impala or something? And it's like, but Buick Wildcat. I'm like, what is that?
Buick, but hey, Buick, it's a General Motors vehicle.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, I'm partial to General Motors.
There you go.
But a Buick Wildcat, that is a rare car. I mean, rare enough for us to be, us 40-year-olds wondering what the heck is that?
Exactly. The next one, for anybody like ourselves who are immersed in the hip hop culture, we're talking about a 1970 Buick Electra 225, the deuce and a quarter. This particular car is featured in the liner notes of the MPG's album, their debut album. And it's all over there. And the way that the lead rapper, Tony M, is hanging out in the car, you would think it's actually his car, but Prince loaned it to him for the photo shoot. And I've actually never seen one of these not lowered. Every one I've ever seen, anybody's got a deuce and a quarter, which they made it for a couple years, I believe. I always see it sitting on the ground with some like 13x7, 100-spoke Daytons. I've never seen a stock one, but this is like a pimp-tastic car.
Yep, that is a quintessential lowrider, car. It really is. I mean, matter of fact, in even in Virginia, where I'm from, I mean, even the East Coast, I'm starting to see a lot more lowriders come back to the lowrider culture coming back to the East Coast and stuff, because they're always on the West Coast, but on the East. And it's so funny that you brought that car up, because I actually have a friend across the street who actually has one in his garage. I never knew what it was until you said something. And that's the dude across the street. If he was home, I would actually take my computer over there and because I'm actually looking at his garage right now. He's got the Lincoln Town car, but yes, but back to what you're saying about that deuce and quarter. I mean, yes, I don't think I've ever seen one that has been just stock.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sitting normal. I've never seen one sitting normal.
Exactly, and hey, another pimp car. That's how I look at it. And and I believe those things had V8s, 4-speed automatics, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I couldn't, I don't want to tell you guys anything wrong. And it's another boat car. I mean, it's made to cruise. It's made to cruise.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike the Wildcat. It's a giant car, And yeah, again, yeah, I'm kind of jealous that you actually have the lowrider culture coming to your area, because here in St. Louis, it does not exist. And I don't know if it's because of the massive potholes everywhere or whatever, but yeah, we don't see that at all around here. I'm like, I really miss it. Growing up in Texas, I really miss I really miss the lowrider culture, man. I'm probably gonna mispronounce this one, but a 1995 Prevost bus. It's a giant tour bus. It's the one that is in the collection that they have was has been retired, and I couldn't find any notes as far as exactly what tour it was used on. But they have actually, it's at Paisley Park. It actually, depending on what event's going on, they'll actually have it parked out in the front, and the exterior has been repainted. They've, touched up all the chrome, like it looks brand new, like off the showroom. The inside, though, has not been touched yet, and there's a lot of people that when they visit Paisley Park, before Paisley Park takes their camera away from them, because once you enter there, you actually have to turn your camera in. They'll take photos of the inside of the bus, and you can tell that it's kind of been ramshackled and not touched in years. But at the last celebration that happened a couple months ago, they said that a couple people had taken pictures, and they said that you could tell that they had started working on it. So it might be something that will become part of the tour, where you can actually go in the bus, and who knows, for an obscene amount of money, they might actually let you rent the thing for events or something like that. But I really don't know too much of anything about tour buses, other than this is a beast of a bus. Any thoughts on this one here? It's kind of a weird one here.
The tour bus, yeah, well, I can tell you this, that the engines on these things they're in the back too, I believe. And they're almost like a stackable engine in the back. It's a diesel engine, of course, but
I gotcha.
It's weird. It's like they got an engine and then a transmission and then all the coolers and AC and stuff, and it's all in the back. I believe that's how that was. And yes, you gotta have somebody, either tall or skinny to work on these things, because it's all. And yeah, you gotta have a certified person to work on those. But I'm so glad that they're able to preserve it, and have it for the public. It's a part of Prince's history. That's even better. I mean, even if it was just sitting there and it was towed and stuff, to have the actual opportunity to be like, hey, that's where Prince probably wrote a song or somewhere, and that's where Prince may have had a few parties and stuff. It's awesome. I don't know much about that bus. I really don't, but I do know how it's built.
We have the 1996 BMW Z3 Roadster, little bitty white car. It's seen in the liner notes for the album Emancipation, and he also, you actually see him pumping gas, which is kind of weird seeing Prince pumping gas, but in the music video, Betcha by Golly Wow, it opens up with him pulling in the gas station with his car and pumping gas. I'm going to tell you right now, Prince being 5'2", he's the only human being that could probably fit in this car. I've seen one personally, and I'm 6'2", about 220, 225, depending on breakfast. I'm not getting in that car. It's a cool car. I do have a question though. Like, it's one of those cars, it looks really fast, but is it actually a fast car? Because you have people that would fall in love with Smokey and the Bandit with the Trans Am and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fast, and find out that car is actually slower than dirt. Is this one of those, or did BMW actually really make a good sports car here?
I'm so glad you said that one, because I have actually driven one of those, believe it or not. I had a customer at one time at previous employment that I've had. There's somebody who actually had one, let me service it, and yes, it is pretty quick, because it's a light car. I believe it's a straight 6-cylinder in it.
I think so.
Yeah, and I don't believe it's turbocharged. I think it's naturally aspirated. But BMW has always engineered almost like a perfect car. It's German engineering, but as you're saying, not very many people can fit in that. I can, because I think I stopped growing at 5'9", but
Yeah.
and yeah, probably weigh about 150, 160. So you got me beat on the growing part, but
Yeah.
but
And
that
sadly
BMW,
enough, I'm the run of my family, so that's the sad part.
yeah, but BMW, you said it was a Z3.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Z3 Roadster. It's a cool looking car, but it's a itty bitty guy.
yeah. I mean, any car that's got a 6-cylinder in it, and it's a small car, 2-seater, rear-wheel drive, and I'm not sure if it was a manual. I don't know if it was Prince. Yeah, it was a manual.
His was a manual.
Okay, if it was a manual, it probably had a 6-speed in it, and it was probably pretty quick.
Oh, and I forgot to mention with the exception of the Thunderbird, all the cars after this that we're talking about, these are the cars that were actually found in his collection after he passed. So he actually kept everything that we're talking about. Forgot to mention that earlier in the top of the when we began here. So, but on to the next car. Probably, I would say the most Prince car on here, if there's such a thing as a Prince car. That is a 1999 Plymouth Prowler in purple. I believe Chip Fuse actually designed this car.
Yep.
And I unfortunately, I think this is the one that falls in that category I talked about earlier, where it looks really fast, but it's not a fast car. He did a whole bunch of photo shoots with this car for his Raven to the Joy Fantastic album. And for what I understand, it pretty much was used for the photo shoots, and that was it. And he kind of just kept it in storage because he thought it was a cool car, but didn't find it the most fun to drive, apparently. What do you think about? Because we all remember when the Prowler came out, we were all blown away because it looked like a throwback car, but still looked like something from the future on top of that, and it was just something we hadn't seen as far as a mass production car. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And just as you said, I believe Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, falls under that umbrella. I believe that they were, like I said, they wanted to, have a taste of nostalgia, I guess you could say, of a rat rod roadster or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, the design was pretty awesome, I have to say.
Yeah.
But no. Oh, it's not a great car to drive and stuff. I mean, it looks big, but it's very small on the inside.
Yeah.
I haven't driven one myself, but I've actually been able to sit in one. And it is a Dodge. What could I say? It didn't have the most powerful engine in it. It was more of a cruiser too. But it, like you said, it was something that it was a prop. It really was.
Yeah.
And it's something because they only made them for a couple of years.
The big money car here, a 2006 Bentley Continental GT. So it has a really limited color. It's robin egg blue, which was a real limited run, which, Bentleys in general are limited runs, but now we got a limited run color on it. And I think it's awesome that Prince loved the color so much that he had his seamstress make him a suit the same color to match it. And he took a gang load of pictures, promotional pictures, to announce the tour that he was on at the time with this car. But crazy enough, this car became his daily driver.
Man, Bentley, what can I say? Every musician, every rapper, man, every star wanted a Bentley because Bentleys, I believe they're handmade. I mean,
yes,
that's when a lot of these cars that are handmade, you're gonna pay big money, like Rolls Royce. Even the exotic ones like Lamborghini and Ferrari and McLaren, all that, they're hand built. And the thing with that Bentley is that, like you're mentioning about the color, being a very rare color, that's big money. Number two is the power plant. I believe that Bentley Continental, it comes stock with a V12.
That's
V12.
what I was wondering. I was like, is that a V10 or a V12?
Yeah, I believe it was a V12. I'd have to look at it, but I believe it was a V12, and they're very fast. But the problem with them is that it was a luxury car that you could say, hey, I got a V12 in. But the thing is that they're not that fast because they're so big. I mean, they're so heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that time, I know they didn't have no carbon fiber and stuff like that, you know, because carbon fiber now is like all the rage. The
Yeah.
lighter you can and the big muscle that you can put underneath the hood, you know, makes it fast. But Bentley, another cruiser car, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those status cars, you know. Now I'm not saying, you know, Prince was all about status and stuff like that, you know. I mean, you know, contrary to popular belief, because I mean,
Yeah.
he's like the car collection we have now. I mean, you know, that we're speaking of. I mean, it's not like they were all, you know, fully exotic cars like
Yeah. Now a
Porsche.
bunch of supercars and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, and I mean, come on. I mean, he likes to make a statement.
We have a 1984 BMW 633 CSI. This was his first like big car purchase. This was with a Purple Rain check. He bought this car. This is from I believe though is also his dad liked it so much he ended up buying his dad one as well, identical to it. And from the stories and articles I've read, like this was a daily driver. Like he drove this thing to death and put quite a bit of miles on it. But he loved it so much that even when he didn't drive it anymore, he still kept it in his collection. Your thoughts, sir?
BMW. Remind me again what it was again. You said a BMW.
This is it's 1984 BMW. It's a 633, but it's a CSI edition. So I'm not really sure what that package did or didn't do.
Yeah, CSI version of the BMW. I believe that was a two-door. I'm not 100% sure. You know, C standing for coupe. You know, and 80s, 84. You know, BMWs like
when they were boxy.
Oh yes, they were. They sure were. I mean, I've had about 4 BMWs, but they were just the 3 Series. They weren't, you know, anything luxury. But hey, that is a pretty rare car. I mean, and you know, I'm sure he had leather interior in it. I'm not sure if this one was a manual or not, but if it's a coupe, man, you got to have a manual transmission. But
I'm gonna guess it is because it seems like all of his cars, if there was a manual option, he had the manual option. So I'm gonna say yes, it was a manual car. And then again, another BMW, 1991 850i. This one he had in yellow, and this was seen in the Sexy MF video. He had this around this time period. He had this car pretty much in every music video and photo shoot that was out there. So apparently he really loved the car and obviously loved showing it off. I was always curious about the yellow paint job. It's not too often you see yellow BMW, so I don't know if that was a factory option or that was actually a custom option, which, as you've noticed through this, as we've gone through these cars, like he didn't really customize the cars. They were pretty much stock how they came. Of course, these were nicer than average cars, but still, any idea as far as a yellow BMW, an 850?
I don't believe it was a stock color. I really don't. Now he may have you know told the dealership, hey, I'll buy it if you get it painted this color, but I don't think it was yellow because, as you said too, there's no way. I don't think I've ever seen an 850, you know, with a yellow color on it. You know, I've seen black, white, some blue, and a maroon color, like a maroonish color. But 850 BMWs, I want one myself. Yeah. Because number one, they're rare. Number two, BMW didn't really have. They had the fixtured, you know, headlights. Yeah. On 850s, they flipped up. You know,
kind of like a
Corvette.
Yeah.
Flip lights, and those had a V12 in it also. You know, It had a 5-liter V12. Yeah, they sure did. And I believe they were coupes also. But I have a buddy who actually has one. He's like a BMW guru, I guess you could say. He's got a bunch of them at his house. But the 850s, man, I take it he still has it, or in his collection.
Yes, you know? It's actually it actually in Paisley Park, when you go into the showroom where they have a couple of these cars on display, it's actually sitting right next to the Bentley. The last one is the most famous, of course. That is the 1984 Honda Matic CM400A. This is the motorcycle from Purple Rain. There's actually two versions of it. You have the one from Purple Rain, which has the purple on it and has one of the original versions of his symbol kind of stuck on there. And then you have the same exact model, but painted all black, just blacked out. That was used in Graffiti Bridge, which was the sequel to Purple Rain. As far as I'm not a big motorcycle guy, so I know very little about this particular model. But I would have to say, again, bringing up his size, I would have to imagine that finding a motorcycle for his, as small as he was, and be able to control it, he wouldn't have a lot of options really to choose from. So, you know, if you watch in Purple Rain, like especially the far away scenes of him driving, like he looks tiny even on this bike. And speaking of Purple Rain and the bike scenes, he actually does all his own stunts in the movie, which is kind of funny. And if you're a real big, you know, Prince nerd like me, and you pay attention to details, you'll see that the tires actually change because they're changing from off-road tires to street tires for, especially like around the lake scene and stuff like that. But again, would he really have a lot of options as far as a bike he could actually control? I mean, as based on his size?
Being that to me, it's one of those cruiser highway bikes. What I mean by that is that, you know, it's got the glass on it, man. It's got the big old you know, the front fairing, you know, the houses, you know, the speakers and stuff. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that those were like one of the first bikes that actually had the stereo inside the I guess the gauges and all that, you know, speakers, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, as far as him being a small guy and riding one of those, that is a big bike for him. I mean,
really? Okay.
Yeah, because the reason why I say that is because the engine on that is heavy, you know, and him holding it up. But then again, I mean, I ride motorcycles and stuff, so but once you get going, I mean, it balances out itself, you know. It's gotcha. I don't know, it's like that, you know, centrifugal stuff or whatever, man. You can go straight on it, you know, even with a heavy bike. But it is amazing, man, that he can, you know, handle that and do his own stunts. But that is a heavy bike, and you know, especially I don't think that thing had saddlebags and stuff and all the glitz and glamour of it.
No, it's pretty street stripped down. I think the maybe the Graffiti Bridge one is the only one that's somewhat custom, just because the whole bike is pretty much blacked out. And actually, in that movie, he has a really interesting stunt where he actually drives the bike on stage and goes up like this catwalk to his room in the I guess in the movie where the stage is that he performs at in the club. He has like his own room underneath it or whatever, and he actually rides the bike up to the room, which is like crazy because he's like gunning it up there too, and he's doing it himself. And I'm like, okay, he's got it.
Yeah, you know, like I could say, man, you know, motorcycles for that time, you know, especially Honda. I mean, he couldn't pick a better bike for being a Honda. But
and both of these are on display in Paisley Park. They actually have, obviously, they have a Purple Rain room, and it's in there, and it's kind of hit or miss if they're letting people sit on it and take pictures. I've seen people say that, you know, today they weren't allowing it, and other days they do, and I don't know why. But then also there's a Graffiti Bridge room, and the Graffiti Bridge version of this is in that room. And apparently they don't care if you sit on that one, because everybody apparently takes pictures on that one. But I guess the Purple Rain one, being that, you know, it is the film use actual bike, and that movie being iconic, especially after his passing. And we're coming up, you know, this coming June, it's going to be the 40th anniversary of the film and the soundtrack. So they're probably going to be super guarding that this time. So, I mean, that makes me feel really old, dude. It's the 40th anniversary coming up, man.
Exactly.
Man. And then there was a couple cars on the list of what was there in his collection that I couldn't find pictures of his actual car, so I kind of just skipped over them. And they're kind of run-the-mill cars, which you wouldn't think that he would ride. One's a 1993 Ford Thunderbird. I had a 96 Thunderbird back in the day, all black. I had the SE one, and had I don't know what I did that thing. I think I had two 15s in the trunk. Like I was just ridiculous with it. That was back when I was a hip hop producer, and had to match it up to what I was doing. I mean, I still on my current car, I got a subwoofer in the trunk, but it's a 10 inch. It's normal. It's not outrageous like I did in my younger days. I love Lincoln Town Cars, and he has a 1997 Lincoln Town Car. Those cars are just cool, man. They're just big boats of cars, and they just kind of float when they ride.
Yep.
It just there's nothing like riding one. I can't remember though. 97. Did you still have the bench seat, or that when they start breaking them up?
I believe it was a bench seat still.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that same neighbor I was telling you who was building that Wildcat, I think it was the Wildcat, or can't remember which one I just said.
Yeah.
They building a lowrider and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a Lincoln Town Car. It's got hydraulics on it. He's got the wire wheels and
they make amazing lowriders, dude.
Yes.
They just. And then some more cars. These are cars I couldn't find his actual picture of, and these two are kind of mundane, so I'm just going to list them together. A 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee and a 2004 Lincoln MKT. They're just kind of just generic run-of-the-mill cars.
Yeah.
This one, the last two are ones again. I wish I could find the picture of his actual version. That's a 1985 Cadillac Limousine. I thought it was the one that was used in Apollonia 6. They had a movie made that was never released, and I did a video about it. There's a song in it called Blue Limousine, and there's a blue version of this that matches it, but I found out that was only for this movie that never came out, and it wasn't actually his. Apparently the one he had was just all black, but I would be interested to actually see what that looks like. That just sounds like a cool car, because Cadillacs themselves, in the mid 80s were gigantic, and a limousine version of it's got to be bigger than a school bus. I mean,
of course. Cadillacs are always huge. I actually, since we're talking about lowriders, I had a 90. What year was it? I want to say it was a 95 or 96 Fleetwood. Yeah. But it was supposed to. It was a start of a lowrider build that the guy just never got to.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling it too. But Cadillacs. What can you say about Cadillacs? Cadillacs. I think till this day still, the president has a Cadillac.
Yeah. But yeah, these are a couple cars here where I was able to confirm that they're in his collection, but I can't find a photo anywhere. Especially the last car I'm going to talk about, and again, it's a Cadillac, so you'll love this. It's a Cadillac XLR.
Oh wow!
Which I don't think I've ever seen one in person. I think did they put a Corvette engine in that model?
It is based off of a Corvette, pretty much. It is completely everything under the body is basically Corvette. They just redesigned it, for a Cadillac body, if you will. Yeah. Everything inside that is basically Corvette suspension, Corvette engine, transmission. And yes, they are very cool cars. Kind of going back to what you said about the Prowler.
Yeah.
I believe that this is the Cadillac's version of a real sports car.
Yeah.
And unique, because I don't think they made them a couple years also too. Because
it's super limited. Yeah.
I don't think they sold very well. But yeah, those cars are pretty cool, man. I wouldn't mind having one myself, because it's the only thing that I believe that was that kind of sucked for the XLRs is that they're heavy too. Cadillacs are always heavy.
Yeah.
They're powerful.
Not Bentley heavy, but
oh yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. But an XLR is a pretty cool car. I wish they would have put like gull wing doors, that go up like that. That would be cool.
I think the what do you call a car before it actually comes out? The concept car. I think the concept version of it was Gulf wings, and then when they started looking at production on it, they kind of scrapped that.
Yeah, who knows? Probably they want to get sued by DeLorean or a Mercedes or something.
Yeah.
so they're like, nah, forget that. So
Yeah, and then when we started looking at probably the production costs too, what they would have to sell the car for. It was already like a high tier cost as far as a car, and probably doing that would just put it in a place, because it's hard, like, okay, it's a Bentley, and you charge $350,000 for a Bentley. Like, someone's going to pay $350,000 for a Bentley. You sell a Cadillac for $350,000. People
Yeah.
spending that type of money are not going to buy a Cadillac, unfortunately.
Absolutely, because because Cadillac is synonymous with like you said, a mundane car. You'll see them all day long,
Yeah.
But especially made XLR, I think they could have done it,
Yeah,
but that's my personal opinion.
Sure.
You need, I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, GM, decided to change the whole format on the Corvettes. They want to put the Corvette engines in the back now.
Yeah.
And yes,
which is a cool looking car, dude. I mean, I'm not gonna lie on that, man. It's just fresh.
Way over. Well, I don't want to say way overpriced, because I mean, technically, it is the American version of a supercar to me, my personal opinion.
Yeah, it is, but it's dare I say, it's a blue collar supercar. It's actually, comparatively speaking, to like something in the same tier, especially that's a mid engine or whatever, or rear engine. It's the price point's almost a steal. I mean, now for a Corvette and what they traditionally cost, no, it's outrageous. it's outrageous, man. Well, that is his complete collection. I mean, standouts for me. I mean, of course, the Purple Rain bike and the Graffiti Bridge bike are, they have a lot of nostalgia around them, so I dig those. But probably my favorite is that BMW 850. That's just a cool car, and of course it's Bentley, dude, because it's a Bentley. What's some standouts for you that?
Man, you must be related to me, because I was gonna say the 850 also, man. The 850. Yeah, because I've driven one. It's got a V12 in it for a small car.
It's got to move, man. It's got to move.
And you want to know what? I would actually, would love to have a tour bus, man, like he did, man. That would be cool, man. And be able to go travel and stuff, different places and stuff like that, But yeah, probably 850 in the tour bus, probably.
That's awesome.
But
I mean, why do an RV, man? Get yourself a tour bus.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. I actually told my buddy, because I actually was, matter of fact, on my channel, I got, I'm rescuing an RV for my buddy.
Yeah.
I think he's got more money than sense sometimes and stuff, man. Hopefully you blurt this out if he sees your video, but whatever.
But that's the list. Of course, I'm gonna put all the links to all your social media, and of course your channel on YouTube, so everyone can check that out. I'll put that down in the description down below. I'm super honored and appreciative that you would come on and talk not only cars with me, but prints with me as well.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to talk about prints and stuff, man, I may not have as much knowledge as you have, with your channel and stuff on prints, man. But hey, I always like to talk about one of my idols, and it was a sad day when he passed and stuff, man. And I was like,
it was like losing a family member, dude. It was hard, man.
Absolutely and stuff, man. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate the invite and the honor to, like I said, to speak about prints and stuff, man. And
so everybody out there, I will see you on the next episode where I start getting back into the usual. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to start getting into the solo albums by Morris Day. He's actually a couple months ago, he announced his retirement from his solo career, hinting at we might get another time record sometime soon, which would be super awesome. So I'm going to start going through his solo albums. And so until that next episode, as always, I wish you heaven.